My Bitcoin strategy involves dollar cost averaging on a regular basis and holding for the long term. Since I'm not looking to sell my Bitcoin for at least a few years, I want to find a crypto interest account that would offer me the best interest rates on my Bitcoin, while also keeping my costs as low as possible. In order to personally identify the best platform for earning interest on crypto, I decided to try 7 of the biggest platforms in the span of 1 week, testing the overall user experience and digging into all of the important numbers. So in this video, I'm breaking down the characteristics of all of these crypto interest accounts to save you the hassle of trying each one for yourself. Before we get into them, I'll give a quick intro to how crypto interest accounts work, because that is definitely important to understand before storing your cryptocurrencies on one of these platforms. Then we'll take a look at each of the platforms I tried. For each one, we'll be touching on the interest rates available, the supported crypto assets, any costs or fees associated with the platform, whether they offer exchange or trading services, and any other standout features that I think should be mentioned. After exploring all of our options, I'll share the one platform I've decided to continue using for zero costs and high interest on my Bitcoin. To wrap up, I'll also touch on some of the risks of crypto interest accounts towards the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for some big picture information on using these platforms. Let's get started. In almost all cases, crypto interest accounts are able to pay you interest on your crypto assets thanks to a lending relationship. When you deposit crypto onto one of these platforms, the companies can use your crypto balance to provide loans to other customers, whether they're individuals or institutions. As the middleman, these crypto interest account platforms will collect interest from the parties who are borrowing that money, and will then pass some of those profits back to you in the form of regular interest payments. The crypto lending market is still fairly new, which explains why there can be significant differences in interest rates offered by different platforms. Ultimately, the interest rates they offer to users who store their crypto in these interest accounts will depend on how much the companies themselves are collecting in interest from borrowers. CoinDesk predicts that the spread in interest rates on both sides will converge over time as technology improves, competition increases, and the diversity of accepted crypto assets grows, which is a stance I agree with. These platforms and their interest rates are also likely to change quite a bit in the coming months and years, so be sure to verify any numbers on each platform before you choose to try one out. Finally, some features and platforms are also limited by country, so I will be focusing on accounts that are accessible to US residents and offer high flexible Bitcoin interest, because that's what I'm personally looking for. However, I'll be sure to highlight other features along the way in case you're looking for something slightly different in a crypto interest account. Now, before we jump into all of these crypto interest accounts, I hate to be that guy, but because I do use this channel as a source of income, I'll let you know that there will be referral links for all of these platforms in the description. If you want to try any of them out for yourself, you can use those links to score some free Bitcoin and support me in the process, which I would greatly appreciate. Up first, we have Coinbase, which is arguably one of the most recognizable cryptocurrency exchanges out there. Now, technically, Coinbase is not a crypto interest account, because at the time of this video, they only offer interest on USDC. However, they do offer staking on a small selection of coins with various lockup periods and balances required for each. They do not offer any sort of interest on Bitcoin, so Coinbase is not even a consideration for me at the moment. But I really wanted to mention Coinbase because it's probably the platform that most people use to get into crypto and make their first purchase, and I want to advise against that. The problem with Coinbase is that their fees are super expensive. In addition to a 0.5% spread on cryptocurrency prices, they'll charge you a minimum of 1.5% on any purchases or sales. If you're dollar cost averaging over time, especially with less than $200 at a time, you're going to get much less Bitcoin for your money than you could elsewhere. On top of that, you'll have to pay fees on any withdrawals if you want to move your Bitcoin to an interest earning account. This problem is somewhat alleviated by using the Coinbase Pro platform, which charges a maximum of a 0.5% fee on trades. I used this for a while, and then I realized that there were even lower cost alternatives to Coinbase Pro, which we'll cover later in this video. In short, Coinbase doesn't offer interest, and all around the costs are super high, so do yourself a favor and use another platform for your crypto activities. Next is BlockFi, which, similar to Coinbase, is most likely everyone's first experience with crypto interest accounts. I've used BlockFi in the past, and it's a pretty solid choice for a simple crypto interest account. BlockFi currently supports a short list of cryptocurrencies. Unfortunately, as of July 2021, they've slashed their recently competitive rates. With this change, you'll only get 4% on the first 0.25 Bitcoin in your account, down from 5% on the first 1/2 Bitcoin. Interest rates on stablecoin balances also got cut from 8.6% to 7.5%, and none of the other supported currencies were spared either. All interest accrues daily and is paid out on a monthly basis in the currency of your choice, with no minimum balances required. Because of the simplicity of the app and its reputation, I think BlockFi is a great starter account for earning crypto interest. However, it becomes less appealing the more crypto you hold. As you can see, their tiered interest rate system means you'll only earn the highest interest rates on the first portion of your holdings. So as someone who hopes to own more than half a Bitcoin, I would like to see that rate apply to my entire portfolio. But if you hold less than this, you may not need to look any further. When it comes to withdrawals, you can make one at any time as long as you meet the withdrawal requirements set by the app. Most users experience withdrawal times of 1 to 2 business days since each request is manually approved. So keep that in mind if liquidity is a concern. Additionally, BlockFi charges withdrawal fees that can add up if you're withdrawing small amounts of Bitcoin on a frequent basis. They do, however, offer 1 free withdrawal per month. So if you're a long-term buy and holder like me, fees shouldn't be too much of an issue. You can deposit USD into BlockFi using a free bank transfer, which will then be automatically converted into a stablecoin equivalent. Then you can use that stablecoin balance to trade for Bitcoin or one of the other supported assets. Although they claim to have no trading fees, I've noticed that the listed market price for Bitcoin tends to be up to 1% higher on BlockFi than on other exchanges, which means they're actually charging you a higher price to make that trade within the app. So while it appears to be lower cost than something like Coinbase and offers some convenience, I think you're still better off purchasing crypto elsewhere for maximum cost savings. The standout feature for BlockFi when it becomes available will be the BlockFi credit card. In addition to offering a competitive and unlimited 1.5% back in Bitcoin, on top of other bonuses, owning the BlockFi credit card gives you some valuable benefits within the app. First, you'll get an extra 2% interest on your stablecoin balances, bringing them to an impressive total of 10.6% APY. You'll also get 0.25% back on any Bitcoin trades, which will help cushion some of that price discrepancy when trading within the app. To me, the credit card is the biggest reason to use the BlockFi app, especially if you want to earn interest on stablecoin balances. Without it, the interest rates aren't that competitive, and with a limited selection of supported crypto assets, BlockFi doesn't offer much else to stand out as the leading crypto interest account, except for its solid reputation. Up next is Gemini, which is first and foremost a crypto exchange that recently began offering other features and expanding its ecosystem. To quickly touch on the exchange side of things, Gemini offers both mobile and web-based exchange platforms with varying fees on each. On the mobile app, the fees will pretty closely resemble Coinbase, but if you use their active trader tool, which is the more advanced trading platform, you'll pay a maximum of 0.35%, which beats the rates at Coinbase Pro. Plus, any funds you transfer into Gemini via bank transfer are available for trading immediately. For these reasons, I've recently started using Gemini instead of Coinbase as my on-ramp to purchase crypto. But let's get into their interest account, which is called Gemini Earn. Once you open an account, you'll have to transfer your crypto into the dedicated Gemini Earn wallet, which is different from the trading wallet where you'll purchase, send, and receive crypto. So where most platforms will start paying you interest by default, you have to manually make the decision to hold your crypto in the Gemini Earn section to start receiving interest on Gemini. Bitcoin currently comes with a 2.05% interest rate, and most other coins fall in the 1 to 3% range, while their native GUSD stablecoin has the highest rates at 7.4% APY. On Gemini Earn, interest is paid out every day, which gives users a great opportunity to get that compounding going as quickly as possible. So in terms of interest rates, you're going to find better opportunities on BlockFi and the other platforms we'll cover. Plus, Gemini only lets you earn interest in kind, meaning in the cryptocurrency you're holding, while BlockFi lets you earn interest on any of its supported currencies. Gemini Earn looks to be pretty liquid, with the ability to withdraw your crypto back to your trading account at any time, although there is a disclaimer that it may take up to 5 business days in some cases. In my experience, these transfers happened instantly, and it seems like that can be expected in most cases. On a related note, if you want to withdraw your crypto out of the Gemini app, all users get 10 free withdrawals per month. So if you're dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin or any other currency throughout the month, you can do your purchasing on Gemini and withdraw to other crypto interest accounts without any fees, which is really awesome. The last thing worth mentioning is that like BlockFi, Gemini has a credit card coming soon. The details are kind of vague at the moment, but it offers up to 3% crypto back depending on the spending category. A unique feature here is that you can redeem these crypto rewards in any currency supported on Gemini, whereas BlockFi currently only pays rewards in Bitcoin. However, the Gemini card doesn't give you any sort of benefits with Gemini Earn or the Gemini exchanges, so there's not much advantage here unless you just want a crypto rewards card. Overall, I find Gemini to be a great alternative to Coinbase and Coinbase Pro, and the built-in Gemini Earn account and coming credit card makes it a solid one-stop shop for purchasing, holding, and earning both interest and rewards in crypto. Personally, Gemini has become my new on-ramp for crypto purchases, but the Gemini Earn account doesn't offer anything great to keep me on the platform and earning Bitcoin interest. Next up, we've got Crypto.com, which offers an exchange platform, an interest account, and prepaid Visa cards with considerable rewards. However, this is the first of a few platforms that really pushes users to hold the native token to get the full benefits, in this case, the CRO token. And to be fully transparent, this is the one app I didn't make a deposit into and extensively play around with because of how important the CRO token is. The Crypto Earn program looks great on the surface as they're advertising up to 8.5% on cryptos, including Bitcoin, and up to 14% on stablecoins. They also support an impressive selection of crypto assets, which is great if you're looking to get interest rates on something a little less common. Here, you can see their highest reward rates, which includes the advertised Bitcoin at 8.5% annually. However, if you notice at the top, there are 2 requirements to get these rates. First, you must agree to lock in your crypto for a 3-month term. Second, you must be staking at least $40,000 worth of the native CRO token. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have $40,000 that I'd like to put in another currency just to boost my interest rates. For those of us who will only be staking a little bit of CRO token, or even none at all, these interest rates drop by 3 to 4%, bringing the Bitcoin interest rate to 4.5%. But again, this also requires that you lock your crypto for 3 months at a time. As a long-term holder, I wouldn't have a huge problem with this, but it is frustrating that you have to jump through so many hoops to get these rates. Without locking into a term, interest rates drop another 3 to 4%, leaving us with 1.5% interest rates on our Bitcoin, which is now even worse than Gemini. Furthermore, Crypto.com doesn't really meet you halfway with any other features. It requires a minimum deposit of 0.005 Bitcoin, which at $40,000 is about $200. Interest accumulates daily and is paid out on a weekly basis in the same currency that you deposit. And while the Bitcoin withdrawal fees are fairly reasonable, it doesn't offer any free withdrawals like other platforms. To touch on their exchange, Crypto.com offers pretty competitive trading fees at about 0.4%, which is just between Coinbase Pro and Gemini Active Trader. You can get discounts on these fees with more trading volume or by staking the CRO token. But keep in mind the CRO discounts require you to pay all your fees in CRO and also accept them as a rebate to earn that discount. Last, their crypto Visa cards seem like a pretty good deal, with up to 8% back in the form of CRO tokens. But again, to get the most of these benefits, you need to stake up to $400,000 in CRO with a minimum staking period of 180 days. So again, they're really pushing you to buy and hold their native token, and a lot of them, to get any significant benefits within the Crypto.com ecosystem. Overall, I really liked the interface of the Crypto.com app, but I feel like I need to own a ton of the CRO token to make it worth my while. If you believe in this company and feel like allocating cash to their token and also have a ton of cash available, then it may be an appealing option for earning crypto interest, trading, and getting a crypto-linked Visa card. But as someone who is really focused on simple Bitcoin interest rates and low fees, I think we can do better. Next, we're looking at Voyager, which is a simple no-frills crypto interest account available exclusively on mobile. Voyager supports a decent selection of crypto assets, but interest is only available on a handful of these coins. However, it looks like it offers fair interest rates on these coins, with 6.25% APR on Bitcoin, 9% on USDC, and about 2 to 5% on most other assets. These rates are updated every month, so you can easily check to see what the latest rates are. The catch is, all of these require a minimum monthly balance. For instance, to earn interest on Bitcoin, it requires 0.01 Bitcoin, which at $40,000 is about $400. So unfortunately, the $100 I put into this app to test it out did not qualify me to earn interest. On Voyager, all interest accrues daily and is paid out at the end of the month in the currency that you have deposited. Unlike Gemini, Voyager will automatically pay interest on whatever balance you have within the app. So even if you use your balance to trade throughout the month, you can still accrue interest on your daily balance. They also say that you can make instant withdrawals at any time, but disclaim that withdrawals on these interest-earning assets may take up to 7 days in some cases. When you do decide it's time to withdraw some Bitcoin, Voyager will charge a flat rate of 0.0005 Bitcoin, which is about $15 to $20 at current prices and can definitely add up if you're not careful. As I said, there's not much else to the Voyager app, but they do offer a unique brokerage service. Instead of functioning as an exchange and selling you crypto directly, they use an order routing system that allows them to facilitate commission-free, no-cost trades. When you place an order through Voyager, they'll actually go out and seek a trade with the best possible prices on other exchanges. They promise to secure whatever price they quote you for the sale, and if they're able to beat that price, you'll both get a piece of the savings. In other words, you get crypto for a slightly lower price, and they keep some of the difference, which is where they're able to earn money on trades. Digging deeper, however, I found that the bid-ask spreads on Bitcoin, as well as other cryptos, were pretty wide. This means that they're probably showing slightly higher prices and lumping their fees into these prices so that they can offer you commission-free trades while actually collecting profit behind the scenes. But it's difficult to quantify how much you can actually expect to be lumped into trades on a regular basis. I'm also pretty disappointed with the appearance and functionality of the app. I know I'm being picky, but as a mobile-only and mobile-focused platform, you'd think they make the app a little stronger. Ultimately, since their commission-free trades aren't as low cost as they seem, I'll continue trading elsewhere. And that means the only thing keeping me around is the interest rates, which are pretty much on par with everything else we've looked at and lack any unique advantages. If you're going for a bare bones, simple crypto trading and interest solution, Voyager could be a decent option, but I'm holding out for something better. Our next platform is Celsius, which has positioned itself as more of a crypto banking product than anything else. It doesn't offer any sort of exchange features, just purely interest and borrowing accounts. Like Crypto.com, your rewards on the Celsius platform can be boosted with their native token, CEL, but I think they've handled it a little better than the CRO token. In addition to paying nearly 9% on stablecoins, Celsius pays 6.2% on Bitcoin and offers pretty generous rates on over 25 other crypto assets. However, I should highlight that the 6.2% on Bitcoin only applies to the first 2 Bitcoin. Anything extra is reduced to a 3.51% interest rate, which is still superior to other tiered systems we've seen. Plus, there are no minimum balance requirements, no holding periods, and no fees of any kind across the board, even when you want to withdraw your assets. With Celsius, interest accrues daily and gets paid out every single week in the currency you've deposited. When it comes to the CEL token, US residents have somewhat limited access. CEL isn't publicly available for US residents, and that means that we can't enjoy the benefits it provides on the Celsius platform. For example, users holding at least 25% of their portfolio value in CEL tokens would ordinarily receive an extra 25% boost in interest rates when selecting to get paid out in the CEL token. There are some roundabout ways for US residents to purchase these tokens, but unfortunately, just owning them will not help you earn this extra interest until their policies change. Either way, Celsius offers some pretty competitive interest rates with no fees anywhere to be found. The Celsius app is also my favorite app I've tried so far, with a great interface, tons of security features, and easy access to tax documentation. With no costs to transfer in or out of the app, Celsius looks like a solid option for collecting 6.2% interest on Bitcoin, which is about the highest we've seen so far, and it won't cost you anything to change your mind and move to a different platform if a better opportunity arises. Our final crypto interest account is Nexo, which is another exchange and banking hybrid that offers additional features through its native token, the Nexo token. Nexo has a pretty decent list of supported assets, but the most impressive aspect is the high interest rates across all of them. You're earning at least 6% interest on everything, including Bitcoin, with a strong 10% interest rate available on stablecoins. These are advertised as the base rates. However, to get them in full, you have to both hold the native Nexo token in your portfolio and lock up your crypto for a fixed period of time without any withdrawals. As you can see here, you have to have at least 10% of your portfolio allocated to the Nexo token to earn the highest base rate of 5% for Bitcoin and other cryptos. This is much lower than the percentage requirements set by Crypto.com and Celsius Network, so it is a little more attractive if you don't mind allocating to the native token. If you're willing to lock up your crypto for a fixed rate term, you can get an extra 1 to 3% interest on your coins, which for Bitcoin can bring your total interest rate up to 6%. You can increase all interest rates by an additional 2% if you are willing to accept your interest payments in Nexo tokens, which unfortunately is not an option for US residents. Just like the Celsius token, Nexo is not publicly available to US residents, and due to its recent classification as a security, they cannot pay out interest in Nexo to us. However, this may have changed with an update to the Nexo token structure, and could become a more attractive option for US residents in the near future if they change their policies. In the meantime, I purchased a few Nexo tokens to test out the features of the account, but I'm still not able to earn that extra 2% interest rate boost. On the bright side, Nexo pays out interest daily, which means faster compounding on your crypto holdings. There are minimum requirements to start earning interest, with the required Bitcoin balance set at 0.001, but this is a bit lower than other requirements that we've seen. At the time of this video, it doesn't look like there's any maximum or tier system to the interest rates, so you can earn that full 5 to 8% Bitcoin interest if you have larger Bitcoin holdings. All Nexo users get 1 free withdrawal per month, with up to 5 free withdrawals if you're in the highest loyalty tier. So this is pretty flexible if you want to test out the platform and see how it goes. Nexo also has a built-in exchange feature, but it's not really a cryptocurrency exchange like you find on Gemini or Coinbase. It's technically a swapping tool that you can use to exchange between a variety of market pairs. There are no fees associated with this tool, but you should definitely double check and make sure you're getting the best price if you decide to use it. Like Voyager, Nexo also uses a smart order routing system for this feature, so they may have fees baked into the prices they display. Again, since Nexo offers free withdrawals, it might be smarter just to withdraw and trade elsewhere if you can secure more favorable prices. The last feature I want to highlight about Nexo is their Nexo card, which is a little different from the credit cards offered by Gemini and BlockFi, as well as the Visa card offered by Crypto.com. With the Nexo card, you'll use your crypto balance as collateral, and you'll receive a line of credit based on your holdings. In contrast, Gemini and BlockFi are traditional credit cards, and the Visa card by Crypto.com is more of a prepaid debit card that you have to top up to use. What sounds really appealing to me is that this card will offer 2% back on absolutely everything in the form of either Bitcoin or Nexo tokens, which beats both BlockFi and Gemini cards. It's not available to US residents just yet, but I will definitely be taking a closer look when the time comes for the rewards alone. Overall, I think Nexo offers a great opportunity for the highest interest rates, but only if you're comfortable holding the Nexo token. The Nexo token balance requirements are more reasonable than some of its competitors, but that might not be enough for everybody. If the Nexo tokens and Nexo card becomes fully available for US residents, I think this platform will be a much more appealing option. But until then, it's just about on par with most other interest platforms. After testing all of these crypto interest accounts, I've decided to stick with just one, and that's the Celsius network. After making these comparisons, Celsius is the clear winner with a 6.2% interest rate on a balance of up to 2 Bitcoin. I've got a ways to go before I accumulate more than 2 Bitcoin, and this is currently the highest interest rate I can achieve outside of Voyager at 6.25%, which is a pretty small difference to use a platform that I really didn't care for. I was really impressed by the security features of Celsius, the smooth design and use of the mobile app, and all of the great feedback I've seen regarding the company's transparency and leadership. Plus, with no minimum balance requirements and unlimited free withdrawals, I'm not risking anything by trying it out for now and keeping my eyes out for other opportunities. They also have incredibly low interest rates on loans if I ever decide to borrow against my crypto, which I don't have any plans to do yet, but it is nice to know. Although I've decided on Celsius for now, I'm also going to continue playing around with Nexo. I don't love that I have to hold their Nexo token, but if US residents get access to that token, it could significantly boost my interest rates to make things much more competitive. I'd also love to get my hands on a Nexo card, or any crypto rewards card for that matter, so I'll definitely dive deeper with Nexo if and when that becomes available to me. But Voyager, Crypto.com, Coinbase, and BlockFi are definitely out for crypto interest. I'll continue using Gemini for low-cost purchases and let my interest start compounding on Celsius while I test Nexo further. And with that, I'll quickly cover some of the risks of crypto interest accounts so you can continue exploring your options and making the decision that's right for you. First, the safety of your Bitcoin is an obvious risk, as it's only as protected as the platform it's being held on. Some platforms will hold your crypto in cold storage, and some use third-party custodians, so you have to check each platform to determine how they'll protect your assets. Similarly, unlike traditional banks, these interest accounts do not fully insure your assets. If there's a major security breach and your crypto is lost or stolen, you may only get a fraction of that reimbursed, if any, depending on the platform's insurance policies. Finally, you have to trust that the platform lending your money is making responsible business choices. If they're lending to riskier customers, there is a potential that the borrowers default on the loan and you don't receive your money back at all. I think this would have to be a pretty widespread issue on a particular platform for it to happen, and likely wouldn't happen to just one unlucky individual, but that's another reason to investigate the transparency of each platform. I know I didn't get to dive into all of these details with each of the platforms I covered, so please let me know in the comments if you'd like me to explore any of these platforms or topics further in another video. As someone who is super overwhelmed navigating all of my crypto interest account options, I hope you guys found this helpful in identifying the platform that's right for you. I appreciate you watching, especially if you made it to this point in the video. And if you choose to come back, I'll see you in another video next week.